Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marcy. Thank you for clicking on that thumbnail. Always showing up, showing your girls some love. We have something very special today, and I would really love you all to watch this video from beginning to end. Go follow this fragrance house over on Instagram. Go check out the website, read the introduction to the fragrance house. Go read what every single fragrance in the introduction is all about. There's so many stories, intricate stories, and so many detailed stories behind each perfume from this fragrance house. Now, these fragrances are considered ultra niche fragrances. Every time I think about these fragrances, there are a couple people I think about here over on Instagram, some fragrance reviewers and fragrance lovers that like very unique, distinctive, ultra niche, exquisite, opulent fragrances. And two of those people are men, one's a woman. And when I think about these fragrances, I think about someone named Fragrance Journey over here. He does amazing reviews. I will link his channel down below. He loves like naturals, animalics, rarely sourced materials, and that is what this fragrance house gives you. Also, we have North. North, I know he loves his exquisite Chanel collection. They have very detailed taste in fragrance, very opulent taste in fragrance. So these are some of the people I think about. And then there's another lady over here as well. I'll link her channel down below. When I think of some of the fragrances, a bit dark, yet still holds so much history and scent profile in the fragrances. Also, my girl Simply Aisha, I think that she would like something like this as well, or this fragrance house, because they're like no other, and they're very the rare source materials that they used are very rich and very exquisite, and you can smell the authenticity in this fragrance house. So please continue to watch. I won't talk too much, run my mouth a little too much, but I will try to stay on track. I do have some notes because there's so much information about this fragrance house that I've tried to learn in a short period of time. I've worn two of the fragrances. There are 7 in the collection. There are 2, there's a separate collection called the Finite Collection, and there's so much more that they have in store for 2025. There's another fragrance that I smelled over there, and it was in collaboration with, I think, an artist or someone else, and it had the notes of honey in there, and it was so amazing. Now, these fragrances are not cheap, okay? But they smell, the lengths that they go through to source these materials to make these fragrances. It speaks when you spray it on. It speaks on your skin. It speaks history. It tells a story on your skin. You exude history. So anyway, please continue to like, watch, comment, subscribe, turn on those notification bells, all that good stuff, you all, and let's get to it. So I found this brand over in Dubai. I was told by a friend of mine to stop by and smell some fragrances because he really loves this brand. Thanks, Ahmed. And I stopped by. I wasn't expecting very much. I was like, okay, I'm going to go support. As you know, Beauty World, there are tons of dupe houses around Beauty World. And then they have this small section with about maybe 30 vendors or 30 perfume houses. And that is called the Contestants Area. A lot of those brands were from Turkey, London, Dubai as well, but they weren't dupes. But all the other perfume houses around, almost all of them were dupe houses. So for me in Beauty World, I kind of stayed in the Contestants Area where I can smell some authentic, real and rare fragrances. So I stumbled upon or sent by a friend of mine to smell these fragrances. And you know me, I'm always just going for support. Didn't know they were from the motherland, any of that. I was just going because a friend of mine said that I would love these fragrances, and I trust his nose. So went there. I was introduced to the owner. His name is Adil, and then his wife as well. They are the owners, or the owners, creative directors, or let's say the CEO, the card says, and the perfumer. Adil is the CEO and the perfumer of the company. And it's so crazy because while I was smelling these fragrances, I was not expecting such greatness. I was not expecting to be floored. I was not expecting the authenticity that I got from these fragrances. You know, I thought they were going to be, you know, smelling like things that I've smelled before. And every single one of these fragrances, I've never smelled the DNA, the profile, any of these before in my entire existence of being a perfume lover and reviewer. So, like I said, they have 7 in the fragrance house. We have 5. I urge you all to, I don't have the top to this, actually I do. Sorry. This is the top. Even their packaging is amazing. So this is the discovery set that I have with the 5 fragrances. And they do list the name, and it's actually like a green felt inside. This is even so elegant. This fragrance house is elegant. They're so opulent. They're exclusive. I think they do make exclusive fragrances for royalty. And it speaks of royalty and history, like I said. And then I actually have 2 bottles that we're going to discuss. And these were 2 of my favorites while I did smell them over or discover them over at Beauty World, okay? So we're gonna talk about those as well. Now, like I said, if you want something different, something authentic, if you want something with like, that's not mass appealing, amazing artistry, detail, they pay attention to every single detail, rare ingredients and material source, then you really need to try this fragrance house. Adil is young, but he has the mind and the perfume sense and knows as if he's been an 80-year-old perfumer. So he has the education, the love, the drive behind this fragrance brand. And you can tell, you can clearly smell that the love, the authenticity, just the inspiration for all that he's done or has seen in his life or experienced or, you know, dug into through his history. You smell that in these fragrances. So, like I said, to me, smell these fragrances, get a discovery kit. You know, you have to take an approach with an open mind, especially if you are a perfume reviewer and you want to explore different houses, or even a perfume lover, to just enjoy different things and not just designer, not just niche, and this is ultra niche. So the very first one that we're going to talk about today is called Abi Roya. Actually, we're going to talk about the 2 bottles that I do have. Let's talk about the packaging. So I showed you guys the packaging of the discovery set. Even this is like that fine woven material, gorgeous discovery set, completely worth. I think they have like a 10% off right now. I think it's only until December the 31st, but completely worth the money, okay? Because like I said, they're very exclusive, expensive, but totally worth it. So the very first one we're going to talk about is one that I fell in love with, and this is one that I chose to pick. So this one, let's show the packaging first though. So the packaging is like a box. I think this is considered cardboard, but there's the gold print here. There's the tab that you pull on the bottom and it slides out like so. I'm going to tell you guys a little story too of who I ran into. So this is wood here at the bottom so that you can sit your fragrance up. It doesn't fall over on your display. This is like a velvet, like that Harrods green color, a velvet color. Or you can keep it as well, just like this, because it's pretty as well. You know, I hate putting my fingerprints on this bottle because it's so luxurious. So let's get to the bottle. So this bottle is a heavy glass. I think these are 75 mLs. I think they're 75 mLs. The bottle is a heavy glass. The caps are very weighted and heavy. The details, it has HUNAYN there. I think it says HUNAYN on both sides. Yes, it says HUNAYN on both sides. The inscription, this design here, absolutely gorgeous. Then there's their symbol at the bottom, the glass, and then the gold writing here, the name of the fragrance. And this is Silk Dunes. So we're gonna talk about Silk Dunes first. Now, when I initially met Hunayn, we were speaking, I did a live with him as well while I was over at Beauty World. And while we were talking about the fragrances, of course, Sebastian is looking at another fragrance house. And I was happy to see him as well, because he said when we were in London that he loved cinnamon tea. And I was like, I've been drinking the best cinnamon tea for the past 20 years since nursing school. So I was like, Sebastian, I have the best cinnamon tea, and the next time that I see you, I'm going to bring it. So I thought about where I was going, and I said, oh, Sebastian's gonna be there, so let me pack the cinnamon tea. So I packed some cinnamon tea. So I brought the cinnamon tea there with me at Beauty World, because I said if I run into him, I'll just give it to him. So it was so funny, because I was like, oh my gosh, there's Sebastian, and I have his cinnamon tea. And then Adil, he's like, yeah, there's Sebastian. You know, he's been like my mentor from afar in fragrances. I've been watching him since I've been young. So he was like, I would love to meet him. So I went over there and said, hey, Sebastian, because I had already smelled at least 4 to 5 of Hunayn's fragrances at that point, and I was absolutely floored. Okay, so I was like, let me go see if Sebastian wants to come over and smell this fragrance line, because like he has to know about these fragrances, because it's the most amazing thing I've smelled in a long time. So I went over to Sebastian. I took him his tea. I said, oh, hey, Sebastian. And you know, Sebastian's always looking for new fragrance houses to talk about and new things. And then he asked me, is there anything that interests you in this area? And I was like, yes, I was about to tell you that there's this fragrance house that I wanted you to come experience, and they're called Hunayn. He said, well, I can't come now, but after I finish my meeting with these fragrance houses, then I'll come. And after he finished his meeting, I said, okay, I'll see you later, Sebastian. I went back to Hunayn, and after he finished his meeting, he came. At that point, I asked Hunayn, because the fragrances are so amazing. I said, you know what? I need to record this. I did not record it because I was not expecting such greatness. I was going to talk about it at a later date. But I said, you know what? These are so good. I said, do you mind doing a live? Because I really want people to know who this fragrance house is and who you are. The way that he explains things, explains the history, the passion, the drive that he displayed when talking about the fragrances. All of that, it was just absolutely amazing just to listen to him talk about the fragrances and smell the different oils that he had. I smelled the sandalwood that smelled so buttery, almost like you could drink the sandalwood. It was the most amazing sandalwood that I've ever smelled. And I'm sure he uses it in his fragrances as well. He had some of his raw materials sourced from places all around the world behind him. And every time we smelled something in the fragrance, he kind of let us smell the raw material of what was in the fragrance. So anyway, Sebastian ended up coming back while we were doing the live, and he joined the live. So if you have not watched the live, go over to my Instagram. I think I will put it in the highlights if I haven't put it in my highlights, so you can watch the entire live. He was pulled by a fan, but then we finished. But Sebastian literally told Adil, like, he could not believe. He said, okay, so these fragrances are amazing. He said, and who's your perfumer? Sebastian was like, I can smell these fragrances on the 5th floor in Harrods at the perfume parlor. Now, if Sebastian is saying that, then we have something here. And I knew that there was something there when I initially smelled them. And Sebastian was on point with what he said, because I feel the same way. Now, he said, who is your perfumer? Adil said, oh, I am the perfumer. Sebastian was floored. He could not believe that Adil was the perfumer with only, I think he said he had been making fragrances for about 10 years, with only 10 years of experience, and not even 30 years old. When I tell you that's passion and exquisite taste and a gift. It is a complete gift, passion, and exquisite taste. Okay, so anyway, all that being said, so that was the packaging, you guys. So the first one we're going to talk about is Silk Dunes. I don't want to make this video too long because I know everybody has a short attention span today. So Silk Dunes, the bottle is so heavy. And at one point I was like, man, am I even worthy to do this fragrance review? Because this is like, you know, just say in the healthcare field, like I'm a doctor, but other people that have been reviewing fragrances for eternity and perfumers, you know, they're surgeons, you know? So like, I felt like this review belonged to a surgeon, not a doctor. So anyway, I said, you know what, let me just write down some notes so I can do this fragrance house justice, because the exclusivity, the opulence that they exude, they deserve the best. Okay, so I'm gonna try to give y'all the best. So anyway, I have this one on my hand. I wore this one in Dubai twice, and when I did wear it around Cara, she said, you have on a really spicy rose. I said, yeah, I do pick up a lot of rose in the fragrance, but I also pick up a lot of spices, frankincense, myrrh, cinnamon. So let me give you what is in. This is called Silk Dunes, and this smells absolutely amazing. It smells like the Middle East, okay? It smells like history. So in Silk Dunes, you have your cinnamon, cinnamon bark, pink and black pepper. You have some cinnamon leaf. You have nutmeg, cloves, Indonesian and Malaysian rose, exclusively sourced, okay? Indonesian rose, Malaysian rose, frankincense, Mysore sandalwood. That's sandalwood that smells of buttery. There's leather, saffron, there's geranium, patchouli, and there's some cade oil in here as well. Now, I know some people are sensitive to cade oil, to me, because it can smell a little medicinal, clean, slightly green, a little earthy, but I love it, okay? So this fragrance starts off a bit dry and spicy, but you definitely get a warm, beautiful, dark, velvety rose. And then those spices settle down. The greenness starts to come out, a little bit of the freshness, a little bit of that earthiness. It's almost giving a eucalyptic, which I feel is the frankincense or the olibanum, some people say. I feel like it's the olibanum or the frankincense. Now, I love a medicinal or a very fresh, almost eucalyptic, mentholy olibanum or frankincense, because that is what it gives off to my nose. It just adds to the earthiness of the cinnamon, the freshness of the cinnamon, and then the beautiful rose. It smells like a mentally stimulating red velvety rose, and it's very opulent. It is beautiful. It's beautiful. It is one of my favorite cinnamon fragrances or frankincense, spicy fragrances in my collection, on top of the rose as well. It's sweet, it smells a little vanillic, you get those warm spices, and it almost gives me my Frank and Harney's cinnamon tea. And I think that's another reason why I love it so much, because in that cinnamon tea, it doesn't have any tea vibes, but you get that warm, spicy cinnamon. It's a little dry from all the other cloves and, you know, the sweetness from the cloves, because my cinnamon tea has cloves in it as well. So you get the sweetness from the cloves. You know, there's almost a slight orange clovey vibe to this to me as well. But the cloves, the spices, the cinnamon, I don't really pick up on the black pepper per se, but that pink pepper mixed with the cinnamon makes it very spicy and fresh. But you all, Silk Dunes is a gorgeous scent, but you gotta love the note of cinnamon and spices. The rose is beautiful in here. Sometimes you can say a rose is a rose, but when somebody goes to the length of sourcing like 20, 30-year-old materials and oils, then you really appreciate that. This is a fragrance house that you can appreciate. The fragrances are not just, you know, just random perfumes that you would buy on a website. Or these fragrances, they tell a story. They give you history, and they are to be like adored and adorned as well on your skin. So anyway, Silk Dunes is my favorite from the house. So get your nose on it. Yes, love this stuff. Get your nose on that one. Like I said, buy a discovery kit. So the next one we're going to talk about, you know, and when I tell you all you need, the projection is massive. The sillage is massive and amazing. The longevity is 24 hours until you wash your clothes. On my skin, the longevity was about 10 to 12 hours. And then of course, when I put my hand or my arm up to my nose, then I could still smell it. But from afar or from a foot away, I could still smell the Silk Dunes when my hand was down by my side. And Cara, she did say, you have on like a spicy rose. And this is not just any spicy pink pepper fruity rose. This is an exquisite spicy rose. So the next one we're going to talk about, and I love this name, and this one's called Asubuhi. And this one actually gives me, it doesn't list it, but this one gives me a rice note vibe, and I'm not a huge rice note fan either. So the juice of this one, still same packaging, slides out. So afraid I'm going to drop these. Now the bottles retail, they have some very expensive bottles on their website. The bottles retail between $355, I think, to $1,400, okay? So the exclusive ones, the Finite Collection, those are the ones, I think one is about $900 something, and the other one's like 14. But the oils, you have like 30-year-old oud oils and 20-year-old this and that. So they're just very exclusive. So anyway, this is called Asubuhi. Now my girl Tiwa, this was her favorite. I do love this one, but I love cinnamon, you guys, in Silk Dunes. So Tiwa, this was her favorite. Sebastian, love this one as well. I think this one was Sebastian and Tiwa's favorite. This one was my second favorite. But for me, like, I love this top. The top is so heavy and weighted, and it feels like real gold, okay? So for me, this is earthy, it's green, it's creamy. It's almost smelling a little Asian inspired, because for some odd reason, I'm picking up a warm basmati rice note in here. So let me give you the notes of Asubuhi. So in Asubuhi, you have your cardamom, you have some galbanum, lavender, coriander, ginger, vanilla, jasmine, tuberose, ylang ylang. There's some violet leaf in here as well. Amber mimosa, there's eaglewood, patchouli, and vetiver, and vanilla. So for me, like I said, it's warm. You definitely pick up a little bit of that ginger, minimal lavender for all of you lavender haters out there. But the blend of this, there's a little bit of florals in here as well. I'm picking up jasmine, a light creamy yellow floral. Definitely all of these fragrances are unisex. There is one where I felt like it was like on the edge of a slight femininity, but across the board, they're all unisex. So I'm picking up something a little green, like just fresh, airy, creamy green florals. This fragrance is, everything in this fragrance is blended and muted and blended to perfection. Nothing overpowers the next. You get a little bit of warm cardamom, vanilla. It's green. It's almost giving me like a tea vibe a little bit. A tea vibe with some jasmine rice. You know, not basmati rice. A tea vibe with some jasmine rice, but not that earthy tea vibe. It's creamy, but you guys, it's usually not hard for me to explain fragrances, but this fragrance house, everything is blended so beautifully. I think if you like a rice water, minimal amounts of cardamom, slight jasmine-y floral. This is not sweet at all. It's more of a creamy, subtle earthiness. You know, a slightly powdery and beautiful, completely unisex, you know, not offensive. This could literally be a signature scent I think my girl TY is already halfway through her bottle. Now, I did wear this to work and I got one compliment that day. But like I said, to me, this one sits a little closer to the skin. It is not a skin scent. It is a mild projector, but it is very warm and it creates an amazing scent bubble, but it gives you a little bit of those warm spices. And like I said, the combination of the fragrance, I'm picking up I'm going to spray it a little more on my hand. It almost smells Asian inspired, even though I know the fragrance house, they're Islamic or Islamic inspired owners. Not Islamic inspired, but they're from Islam. Yeah, it's green, fresh. You get that earthiness in the opening. Those beautiful florals in the opening, you get it all. You get all of the notes in the opening, or almost all of them. Slightly powdery, airy green, a little earthy, warm, but it's still giving me to my nose that rice water note in here, you know? But it is absolutely beautiful. A little bit of that cardamom spices, and it settles beautifully on your skin. So this is Asubuhi. To me, this one is one of the more lovable ones. If you are new to exquisite, opulent, hyper niche, elevated, you know, very, let's see, what's a beautiful word that I could use? Very rare fragrances, then I think you would really like Asubuhi. I mean, I think Asubuhi is a love across the board, you know? They're beautiful. So I think I told you enough about Asubuhi. The vetiver is not strong. You don't get a heavy patchouli. Yes, so that greenness is the galbanum in here. So it's not a sharp galbanum. It's a very light, airy galbanum, coriander that makes it creamy. Maybe it's the coriander that makes it creamy, giving it that rice water smell, and the jasmine, the tuberose, and ylang ylang. But this one is absolutely gorgeous. And this is Asubuhi. So now we're going to go through the Discovery Kit. So they have some names for this fragrance house, you all. So they have one called, we're going to do that one last because that one's the most complex fragrance. It's called Duty and Death. Now, my girl Ibitum, her name is Cognizance, over on Instagram. Duty and Death was actually her favorite, okay? I was like, ooh, Duty and Death, I loved it in the dry down. But when I tell you the fragrance is potent, it is potent and complex. So we're gonna do the next favorite of mine, which is Abi Roya. So let's go ahead and choose Abi Roya. Let's see, and I'm never taking these out, so they should be in the correct spot. So that it just slides out like so. So there's Abi Roya. So in Abi Roya, you see how, and it's not like a bunch of, you know, lucid liquid. They're very thick. The oils are very thick in these fragrances. I will list all of the concentration of the fragrances and the description box. I will list some of the stories, not all of the stories, in the description box as well, because you can actually go to the website and read everything. It is very fascinating. They're a very fascinating new fragrance house, and they were just founded in 2024, and they launched at Beauty World. So I was excited for the launch and cannot wait to see them again. I know they have a rose fragrance that I'm super interested in that they've been showing over on Instagram, so I'm gonna have to get my nose on that one. But yeah, go follow them on Instagram so you can get all the information, usually in their stories. And they don't post very often. They have a very sleek and clean Instagram page, but they respond to their Instagram pretty within a timely manner. So if you have questions about the fragrance house, I'm sure you can ask them questions and they'll respond, okay? So anyway, in Abi Roya, I think Abi Roya, I'm not sure. I think it was another one. I said this could be a signature scent, okay? So in Abi Roya, there's grapefruit, there's juniper berries, there's white camphor. Pink Lotus. I think this one was very green for me, which I loved as well. There's a lot of lotus in here. Lotus, I think, if I can remember, it smells green, very clean, very fresh. There's pink lotus, there's white lotus, there's blue lotus, there's mimosa, gardenia, there's hay in here. Sarah Baker has a hay fragrance called Riders, and I really pick up the hay in there, but I don't pick up the hay too much in this fragrance. There's mate or mate, cedar wood, and guaiac wood, and there's also mimosa as well. So let's go ahead and refresh my memory on Abi Roya. Okay, I love the name Abi Roya, and like I said, there's so many. I don't want to use this all up because I definitely want to wear this again. So yes, Abi Roya is beautiful. Like, yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to. This fragrance house is an investment, and when you talk about a perfume connoisseur or creating or curating a fragrance wardrobe, then you consider your fragrances an investment, and you don't go out and buy any and everything that comes on the market every release. They're like 10, 20 releases a week. You really want to curate your fragrance collection, even though you may not want to be called a collector, into something that you really love and you cherish and you adore and you think is very exquisite, you know? So yes, this one is absolutely beautiful, but very earthy. And if you don't, there's nothing sweet about this fragrance. The lotus, it smells like a white, let's see. It smells like lotus. It smells like a very warm, lush lotus, you know? You get that earthiness, You definitely get some greenness. I'm getting something fruity in here as well. You know, I think there's something a little animalic as well, but it's a beautiful animalic. You know, it's not too animalic. So, but you do pick on a little bit of you pick up on a little bit of a dryness from the hay, you know, but not necessarily hay. But this is absolutely beautiful. Earthy, dry, floral, clean, a little green, slightly fruity, a very light, airy grapefruit or citrus on top. It's almost, if you don't really have a really good nose, it can be missed, you know. But yeah, definitely getting that a little bit of a citrus grapefruit on top of the beautiful white, clean lotus. This smells like, you know, those days, I don't know, this smells like you're on a sailboat. Has nothing to do with the sea, but it smells very clean, like you're sailing in Thailand or something. You know, because they have these very lush green trees with these beautiful flowers. Some of them are on the ocean. They have trees in the water, you know, but that freshness from the air and the sea with some beautiful florals, walking through like a lush garden with running water. That is what this fragrance is giving me. It is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I love, love, love Abi Roya. But I think there's another one that fell into third place for me. So, but yeah, Abi Roya is beautiful. White camphor, I'm assuming that it's camphoras. I don't really get that. I do pick up on the green earthiness of it, but nothing mentholy or eucalyptic, you know. But yeah, this is very lush green garden, spa-like, fresh air, you know, somewhere very lush. But it is absolutely beautiful. So Abi Roya is definitely unisex, but because of all the lotus in here, it definitely, I think a lot of women would like this more, the Abi Roya. Silk Dunes, I think across the board is pretty, very unisex, you know, especially if you like cinnamon. And then Asubuhi, for me, is very unisex. But like I said, I feel like it's Asian inspired because I'm picking up on like that beautiful rice water nose. It's very subtle, it's gorgeous, and creates an amazing scent bubble. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Abi Roya, okay? So the next one we're gonna talk about is, let me get my paper. I think the one that I said could be a signature scent was Melati Gaharu. So we're gonna go ahead and smell that. It's warm in here, you guys. You guys know that. Sorry, I'm always getting a bit warm, especially with these big old lights around me. So we're gonna smell Melati Gaharu. I think it's pronounced. Yeah, Melati Gaharu. The names are now in Melati Gaharu. Literally, there's lots of absolutes. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm going to list that one in the description box because there were some things that I couldn't even pronounce. That's how exclusive they were, okay? So I know there's red champaca, there's tuberose, there's morga, something called morga. There's like Chinese jasmine. And then I put lots of absolutes and there may be some patchouli, okay? Yeah, so yeah, I think that's it, you guys, that I wrote because everything else was like way too complex. So the complexity, the beautiful complexity of these fragrances are just, yeah, hands down amazing. And let me go ahead and wipe my face off a little bit. So let's go ahead and spray this on skin. Now, when I was there, I sprayed them on paper first and they smelled so good that I ended up spraying them all on skin. So I don't want to break this. So anyway, this one is having a bit of a hard time coming out. There we go. There we go. I have to shake it up a little bit, y'all. And the oils are so thick, okay? Now, this one is animalic, okay? And it's good. There's some ouds in here. And I didn't write that down. I wrote down absolutes. But I'm definitely getting the jasmine. I think this is the one that was jasmine heavy. So no, this wasn't my third. I think it was Abi Roya. Abi Roya was my third. And then they have one from the line, the Finite Collection, which I said could be a signature scent. Jardin du Musc. Oh my gosh, that was so good. But anyway, back to Melati Gaharu. This one is for the jasmine and the tuberose lover, but you gotta like an animalic, slightly endolic jasmine and tuberose. Now, it's not super heady and in your face, but when I tell you this smells like the jasmine has been aged, this jasmine, almost like, you know how you go to a restaurant and you order a steak, and then you go to, it's a regular, beautiful steak, lovely, delicious steak, but then you order that aged steak that costs a little bit more. It's a little more exquisite. You know, they put a little more time and effort into aging that steak. That is what these fragrances are giving me. So it's completely worth the smell on your skin, you know, not on paper, okay? So here, it's beautiful. I appreciate a authentic, rare form of jasmine and tuberose. So this is full of jasmine, tuberose, slightly animalic in the opening, but it's beautiful. If you like fragrances, like, what's a tuberose fragrance? I think it's, what is it? I can't remember, but my girl Gabby loves the tuberose fragrance. I'll try to remember by the end of this video. But if you like a very, almost, it's a very, I don't want to say a heady tuberose, but it's a very indolic jasmine and a really rich tuberose. But it's very wearable, you know? I would wear this. So there's nothing sweet about it, but you literally, it smells like that amouage aged jasmine that you smell in those gold bottles, okay? Not the regular amouage fragrances, that exquisite line that they came out with, that in the caged gold bottles, you know? I think they're like 24 karat gold plated or something like that. So, yeah. So this one consists of jasmine tuberose, that clean champaca. Yeah, you definitely get that creamy champaca, clean jasmine tuberose, a little endolic, but very fresh. It's beautiful, very earthy, okay? There's nothing sweet about this fragrance, but it is very smooth, and I do love it. So yeah, this is for my tuberose and my jasmine lovers. So moving right along, I would actually layer Melati Gaharu. I would layer this with silk dunes. You know, this would be very pretty with silk dunes. The spices and the tuberose and the jasmine as well, lovely. So the next one we're going to talk about is Death and Duty. And yes, I'm going to spray this on my skin. So did I spray something here already? No. So anyway, I'm going to spray it on my skin, okay? So Duty and Death. Now the juice in this fragrance was dark, okay? So the juice was super, super dark. So let's go ahead and spray Duty and Death. So this was the most complex fragrance based on what the website said. So in Duty and Death, it consists of a lot of spices and ouds, some cypriot, Chinese vetiver, patchouli, sandalwood, and this, I think this pays homage to the war. It says honoring the dancing, heralding the dances of the warriors that I wrote. Hopefully I can read my writing correct, okay? So anyway, I smell Duty and Death. Now, the opening of Duty and Death was a bit like, wow, this is crazy amazing, okay? But then the dry down, I was like, oh, Duty and Death is like really good, you know? So anyway, there's a lot of oud in here. So you got to be an oud person, a oud and a spice, oud, green and spices person. But the dry down is stunning, okay? This is the one that I think Fragrance Journey would like, and North, because I know they like those oudy, those heavier ouds, exquisite spices, you know, those, what do you call it? Not kitchen spices, but the spice market spices. So let's go ahead and spray Duty and Death. I know the name I actually like the name. It speaks to the story. So Duty and Death, okay? Duty and Death almost gave me like smoky, spicy spices. Very smoky, almost like a barbecued like effect, okay? And I hope it's not like a barbecued flesh. Let's hope that's not it, okay? So anyway, it is beautiful. There's something beautiful about this fragrance, but this is not a safe blind buy. So if you decide to get Duty and Death, you need to experience it in the discovery kit first, or order, I don't know if you could order like one sample. But I'm almost getting like a little bit of freshness, sweetness, spiciness, smokiness, oudiness with a little bit of a barbecued effect. You know how you're smoking meat on a grill and you get that hickory smell? That is what it is. It smells a little bit hickory-ish, you know? But it's good. I'm getting like that sweet spiciness, you know? Maybe some cinnamon as well, or cloves, with a hickory smoke smell, oud, something, maybe there's some jasmine in here as well. But this one is so beautifully composed and unique, you know? Yeah, you be smelling like nobody else out there. So Duty and Death is something about this fragrance that makes me smile, that makes me wonder and say, you know what? I actually really like this. I love the name, and I really, really like the fragrance. And as it dries, it gets better and better and better. But you definitely get the hickory smoke, the oud, the spices, the woodiness. You know, there's something a bit, that hickory smoke smell, or that oudy smell in here, it dries down a bit. And then all of these sweet, almost a vanilla smell in here as well. Yeah. This is actually really good. I like Duty and Death more than I like, I don't know. They're all so good. I think I like Duty and Death though, because it's a little sweeter. Yeah, I like Duty and Death. It almost gives, yeah, like a smoky hickory vibe. Duty and Death more than I like the Melati Gaharu, you know? Yeah, strangely beautiful and unique, okay? You know the Lady Stranger Love? She has ouds that kind of allude to these smells as well. Like Stranger Love NYC or Strange Love NYC. I met her over in Dubai and I smelled some of her fragrances and ouds, and they kind of give that same type of old world, you know, exquisite, rare ingredient smell, you know? Yeah, I like Duty and Death more than I like Melati Gaharu. Even though Melati Gaharu is good as well, you know? So anyway, I think we smelled everything. Yeah, we smelled everything. And they also have 2 other exclusive fragrances as well. One is called Baka, I think it is. And these is Baka and Jardins de Musc, which belongs to the Finite Collection. And Baka belongs to the Finite Collection. Now, Baka from the Finite Collection has a 34-year-old musk. It has 25-year-old Mysore sandalwood. A lot of these have Mysore sandalwood in it, so know that when you're purchasing these fragrances, that those oils are 25 years old. Some of those oils were like, you know, sourced when you were a baby, okay? And it smells, that Mysore sandalwood smells so buttery and so good. It just makes you want to drink it. And all of their fragrances, to me, they carry a lot of history and a lot of weight, and just enormous amounts of spices, frankincense, myrrh, almost like you're walking through the souks in Dubai with those beautiful oils and spices. But yeah, this fragrance house is extremely exquisite, and you have to approach them with an open mind, very artistic, very luxurious. And yeah, it's just a world full of creativity and artistry amongst all of these fragrances here. And I love a creative mind. I don't want to smell a basic fragrance or a fragrance that smells like everything else. In 2025, we have so many fragrances, so many things have launched in 2024. I have started to get a bit bored of fragrance of some of the launches that are released, because everything is smelling similar to a lot of the fragrances that I already have. So when I pick up something, I'm like, oh, this gives me remnants of this. This smells like this, you know, this smells like this that I just bought. Like, I don't want this. So this fragrance house, I feel like they are very authentic, unique, and new things that you've never smelled in your entire existence. Aside from that jasmine and the frankincense that you probably smelled in some of Amouage's rare ingredient perfumes. You've never smelled anything. The blends are impeccable in your entire existence of reviewing perfume or smelling perfume. So like I said, they're made of rare, finely sourced ingredients, and I can appreciate that about this fragrance house, and you will smell like nobody else. So anyway, that is my review. I know it wasn't the best, but I will list a lot of information in the description box. Go out into the world, spread amazing sillage, do good, be good, and get your nose on HUNAYN. This is my favorite fragrance, a tongue twister, favorite fragrance house discovery of 2024, and I'm so excited to see what they have in store for 2025. Like I said, I smelled a honey fragrance over there that was literally unmatched. I was like, ooh, this is better than my Guerlain's honey tobacco. I have one from Zaharoff that's honey, and I recently smelled a very good one from Habibi Fragrances. That's really good as well. But you guys, anyway, get your nose on this fragrance house, order discovery kit, and open up your mind to a world of finely sourced materials and creativity and Adil's creativity. Anyway, bye-bye. Love you all.